Hey, thank you for joining us today. The Titanic, it's sinking slowly, and it's all by design, friends. So you may say to yourself that, oh, there's this evil group of people who are doing all of this because they hate humanity. Or you may think that, oh, this is the fallen angels. They're all at the helm. So whatever your understanding is of this big paradigm that is being played out in the front of the world stage, make no mistake about it, it is God. Capital G-O-D, capital Jesus Christ, the maker of heaven and earth. He's the one who is allowing it all. So we won't get too far in this end times if we don't stay close to the shepherd's side. All right, well, friends, let's get right to the news here in the first story this evening. And this is not a joke, actually, or maybe it's a clean joke, but here we got Joe Biden's new washing machine regulations. They could ruin your laundry day. This is from the Free Beacon. Manufacturers say that government climate change initiative would make your washing cycles longer, your clothes dirtier. Well, I guess since the globalists have housekeepers, this is really not a big important issue for them. But in this story, there was a gentleman in Cincinnati, a firefighter, and he had purchased one of those new Whirlpool efficiency machines, and he really regretted the decision big time. And the washing machine, it did use less water, but not enough to clean his work clothes. And you know, firefighters, they come home very dirty. His co-workers noticed it right away. Now, even if President Biden takes on the new nickname, Stinky Joe, getting rid of Sleepy Joe because of this push for efficient washing machines, just remember that it doesn't matter if we have a Republican president or a Democratic president, they still have to obey the Green Initiative orders. It's not a Democrat versus Republican plan. It is a global Green Initiative plan, and it will come to pass at the expense of all humanity. Probably with the amount of energy that our dryers use as well, they'll be too expensive to run in the future with the rising cost of electricity. So I recommend the old-fashioned way of doing laundry, friends. If you're able, the bucket of water with some laundry soap. And I've also shared on the news here the importance of owning a drying rack. It's a great investment, maybe about $20, or a nice clothesline. I'm sure that no one in Biden's energy department is going to get a Christmas card from the American citizens this year over this one. So now the proposed washing machine rule, it's another example of the Biden administration using consumer regulations to push its climate change goals. Now, last month, the Energy Department published an analysis of its proposed cooking appliance efficiency regulations, which it found would effectively ban half of all gas stoves on the U.S. market from being sold. Yes, that's very substantial. And the department has also proposed new efficiency standards for refrigerators. Now, that would come into effect by the year 2027. Talk about changing the way you live life. My goodness, the Energy Department estimates that manufacturers will incur nearly $700 million in conversion cost to transition to the new machines. Thanks a lot, President Biden. Now, if any of you listened to the President's State of the Union address in January, President Biden, he touted how he was succeeding in driving down illegal immigration. Again, it was a wonderful Oscar performance, and I wonder if he is aware of the next story. There is a boatload of non-governmental organizations assisting illegal passage into our country, or at least they are encouraging it. The Red Cross is giving migrants maps and guides, and I think I also heard phone apps to aid in their illegal border crossings. Take a look at this map, friends. It bears American and International Red Cross logos. It shows where immigrants can find various resources. Again, I'm not opposed to that as long as they're coming in legally. They can find resources such as hotels, medical care, shelters along the route through Central America and Mexico. That's even before they get to the border. Now, the guide also provides tips on surviving in the desert, dealing with disease, how to safely jump on trains. Are you serious? And how to obtain birth control pills. Now, as the caller notes, the American Red Cross sits on the board of FEMA's food and shelter program. So there you go. Thanks a lot, FEMA. FEMA is also assisting illegal immigrants. And so they are responsible for allocating funds to these non-governmental organizations which support illegal immigration. Now, the organization is not only facilitating help for illegal immigrants in the U.S., but appears to be helping immigrants make their journey far south of our border. U.S. Customs and Border Protection has recorded a record surge in illegal migration at the southern border, where federal authorities encountered more than 2.3 million immigrants in the fiscal year of 2022 and more than 870,000 between October and January. Now, I want you to listen to some of these tips that are in the self-care document distributed by our very own American Red Cross. It says, if you use contraceptive methods, don't forget to bring them with you. And if necessary, in necessary cases, some Red Cross clinics and medical brigades, they will give them to you for free. So they have a contraceptive program for the immigrants too. Now, there are also tips for jumping on top of cargo trains. What a dangerous thing to promote. And they also have one called the La Bestia, or the Beast, which takes them north through Mexico. And more tips from this pamphlet read, traveling seated on trains. It is the most recommended. Be careful on your trip. There are branches, there are electric cables, there are tunnels that can hit you, and accommodate yourself where you have supporting points. Now, in the desert during the day, the pamphlet says temperatures are extreme. Seek to bring with you lots of potable water, pants, and long sleeves to protect you from the sun and maintain the sweat humidity. Also take with you warm clothes, gloves to protect your hands, and a flashlight and matches. Now, when reached for comment, the International Committee of the Red Cross called the effort strictly humanitarian. I wish that they would promote legal immigration more than this. All right, friends, well, this is the next story. A Border Patrol agents, they were forced to erect temporary barricades, barbed wire fences and such at the port of entry along the southern U.S. border. This was yesterday. Thousands of illegal immigrants tried to enter the country. Hundreds stampeded the border officials by force. Now, what was behind this massive surge of people? It looked like a staged event from the Twitter feeds that were out there from the Mexican side. The stampede incident started at the Paso del Norte International Bridge. That's the entry point in El Paso, Texas. And that happened around 1:30 p.m. local time. The crowd was sized at around 2,000 illegal immigrants. A judge who was on the El Paso side, he said the majority of the immigrants were Venezuelan males. After the Mexican National Guard was called in to disperse the crowd, some of whom were attempting to pull down the port barriers and the barbed wire, there was around 100 of them who stayed around. They were seeking asylum. Now, Sunday's incident, it comes after President Joe Biden in January, he announced that immigrants from Cuba, Haiti, Nicaragua, and Venezuela will be returned to Mexico under Title 42 if they illegally enter the country. However, the administration will also provide legal immigration opportunities to those who are eligible as asylum seekers, allowing them to live and work in the U.S., provided that they find a sponsor and also that they pass the background checks. Now, we know, friends, that there is a greater agenda going on here. We have a great incursion of people pouring through the borders, and as I have said before, not all with good intentions. There is the goal to crash the U.S. economic system, to crash the U.S. in general, to sink the Titanic, as I said earlier, and they want to usher in the New World Order from their orchestrated chaos. But, you know, friends, we as God's people, we have to understand what is really going on there. You know, whose design is it at the end of the day? It's God's design. He is the one who is allowing all of this to happen. He wants his people to be beacons of light through all of this madness. We need to be ready to preach the gospel in and out of season. We need to be the encouragers of Jesus Christ, good harvest workers. So, friends, time is up and we are in the last days, and we can't turn the clock back now and go back to the days of Mayberry. We are in it to win it, right? And so we must be the overcomers that Jesus asked us to be. And then what will happen? We are going to get a beautiful robe of righteousness. Hallelujah. All right, friends. Well, we'll be back to talk to you again real soon. Please keep the Western coast in your prayers, because there's more of these rivers of precipitation coming through there. They've had some earthquake upticks today, as well as the nor'easter storm hitting the East Coast. So let's keep all areas of the USA in our fervent prayers. We'll talk to you again real soon. Good night.